Welcome everyone to our webinar, Integrate Your Agency Knowledge with Microsoft Office. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be recording this session. I also want to go ahead and extend an offer to give you a one-on-one demonstration if you would like to ask some questions and see some things that we don't have time to show you in the limited time that we have together for this particular webinar. My name's Jim Townsend, and I'm with InfoStrat. We're a Microsoft Gold partner based in Washington, D.C. We're focused on public sector, and I'm thrilled to have Jesse Sun with me from Microsoft. Jesse?
Great. Thanks for the introduction, Jim. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Jesse Sun, and I'm one of the solution specialists here on the East Coast. I'm based out of Reston, Virginia, and been with Microsoft here for a couple years now, and looking forward to learning more about and hearing more about your webinar today, Jim.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. So what we're going to do is give you a little bit of an overview of what the business need is that we're fulfilling. We're going to talk about some of the technology pieces, and then I'm going to give some quick demonstrations based on common scenarios. I think that we all recognize that knowledge management is a challenging field, and getting people the answers that they need has never been more important. The proliferation of information, the growing complexity of systems and of some of the business rules that we have to operate in, and the productivity of your workers really does hinge quite a bit on getting the right information at the right time. And I think that it's also been proven that just-in-time knowledge is more valuable than trying to teach people everything that they might possibly know, and then a few months later they have a difficult time remembering what it was that they taught through a long or intensive training program. The good news is that the technology has improved for providing customer service, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Microsoft has added some new capabilities to its Dynamics product line, and I'm going to be showing you how customer service can be enhanced for internal use within an organization, within a federal government agency, a state, local government, education, and commercial customers can all take advantage of this technology. I've got some statistics here about just how important it is because it's difficult for employees to find the information that they need, and often they have to go from one system to another to find the authoritative answer. Just a small improvement in getting knowledge to people when they need it can boost their productivity significantly. Even customer service agents have a difficult time because they have the same challenge of going to multiple systems to find the answers to their questions. Microsoft offers a comprehensive solution for employee self-service, which embodies a number of products in the Microsoft platform. SharePoint, for instance, is commonly used as an intranet product, and many may have information there that they're sharing or document management capabilities that they're using SharePoint for. SharePoint's also part of the Microsoft Office 365 cloud platform. Microsoft has portal capabilities that you can use to expose this information, and mobile clients for what we're going to be taking a look at. Microsoft, through the offering that we're looking at today, Employee Self-Service, also allows you to engage via social platforms, either through things like Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter to initiate and resolve a request for
Yeah, that's right, Jim. Hey, this is Jesse. I just wanted to add something real quick for all these folks on the webinar. You know, pushing out knowledge to any of these channels is really a big differentiator, and this is really where the direction of most organizations are going. That flexibility is really needed. I'll give you one really good example. Many years ago, we were at a state of war, and we had troops deployed overseas. The Department of Financial Accounting Services, which manages much of the payroll for all of our dedicated troops, was having a very difficult time communicating with our troops directly, right? And this was because the country that our troops were deployed in was heavily regulating the internet connection and therefore making it very difficult and unavailable for communication. However, something very interesting, Facebook was still a social channel that was still up and running, and therefore we got a little creative with the agency. So DFAS basically was then getting tons of questions around certain troops that may have not received their direct deposit for families back home. There were open questions on payroll, and so very difficult to get information over to them, especially over the internet and email. But through Facebook, they were able to push out a knowledge base directly on the DFAS fan page inside Facebook that enabled the self-service capabilities for all of our troops to access help when they needed it. And so it just kind of goes to show you that we think about phone and email as very common communication channels. Self-service channel is obviously the least expensive, but also the most preferred. And being able to self-serve, just not only in your traditional websites or web portals, but being able to do that in social channels like Facebook, being able to do that inside Office products like Outlook, Word. It's a really exciting time, and this is where the direction of self-service is going for knowledge. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you so much. That's a really compelling story. I also want to point out that there's a generational difference. The new young employees really are coming into the workplace with an expectation that they can use the same tools and channels that they're used to using in their daily lives. And I read a story in the newspaper the other day about how some young people consider it a milestone when they send their first email, because they get to be teenagers or they're late in high school and they're not using email except to communicate assignments with their teachers. So they feel like email is a really grown-up medium. So I think that this push towards self-service and the use of multiple channels is going to continue. I know myself, one of the things that I like is the ability to access information 24 hours a day. And many organizations cannot really afford to provide 24-hour coverage for a phone line, for instance. So we're going to plunge into a scenario, and I'm going to show you how it looks for that end user. Let's imagine that I've got a technical question coming from one of my agency employees. Instead of calling the help desk to have a question resolved, what this employee can do is go to the portal and then do a search to find the answer that he needs. So let's see what that looks like. So here I've got a portal within my agency, and I've got the ability to browse through topics based on menus. Also, I can see which are the most popular topics, which are the topics that have been accessed recently. All this capability is familiar because it's what we're used to seeing for consumer websites. So I can type in VPN as a search, and then when I get my search results, I can click through, and within those results, what I see is a video, and if I play that video, it explains how to connect with the VPN. You can also subscribe to that channel, and what that will do is you'll be able to receive updates if this knowledge base article changes. You can also rate content. Was this answer helpful? So that the help desk can continue to improve the quality of the content that they provide on this topic. So you can see that we're bringing consumer-grade, state-of-the-art customer service to our agency. So just to show another scenario, we can do some of these. That was for technical support. We can also do it for human resources and benefits, health plans, how to change my plan in the open enrollment season, or when do I get a flu shot? When is there going to be somebody traveling to my agency to administer vaccinations? So another scenario is benefits. We've got an employee who is going to be a mother and wants to find out about how flex time is going to work. So here we've got a customer service rep. What's a little bit different in this scenario is that we receive an email. So here we've got the inbox of our customer service rep, and we receive an email, and the question comes in, what about these benefits and how does it apply to being a new parent? Microsoft has integration into Office 365. So what we've got here on the right-hand side is an app that runs inside Outlook. And what this customer service rep can do by looking at their email, they can pull up this app, and what the app will do is, I'm sorry, I went a little bit too fast again there. What this app will do is search on the topic and come up with knowledge base articles. So once I turn that app on, now I can see knowledge base articles that relate to flex time and a button to paste that right into the message itself. And you'll notice that that was a block of rich text which included an image. Of course, we can have links and videos and other content, and then I can just click and hit send, and now I've sent out that that knowledge base article in response to an inquiry via email. So we've looked first at the pure web scenario of searching based on a knowledge base being exposed. We've taken a look at a little bit different scenario of embedding in Office 365 this capability to do a search. Let's go out and explore some additional scenarios. Here I've got a knowledge worker, an attorney working on a legal case, and they don't want to go to the website and do a search or send an email to a customer service rep or make a phone call. What we're going to do here is actually embed the knowledge base in Office. In this case, I'm in Word. So I'm in Word and I'm typing along, and you can see that on the right-hand side I've got the knowledge pane. And if you've been using Word for a number of versions, you'll know that each version Microsoft has expanded the functionality that's available on that right-hand pane. And what we're doing here is if we just search, we see knowledge base articles. I'm searching for contract, and I'm specifying the scope of the search, which means where it goes out and searches. And then I can paste the contents of that document that I found. So you can imagine the richness of this when you consider the built-in capability of Word for having macros and compound documents with the ability on the fly to go out and do a search and pull in additional information. Jesse, I'm going to pause for air there in case there's something you'd like to add.
Yeah, this is great. You know, one thing that a number of our customers are giving us feedback on is that, you know, it's literally shaving minutes off of their tasks that they're working on every single day, right? And so you look at that and you compound that over the course of a week, a month, a quarter, it really drives more productivity. And that's where, going back to Jim, your original slide about a 20% lift in productivity, that adds up to one full work day, right, out of the work week. That's what it is. You know, 20% of productivity in 1 week on a 5-day work week is 1 day. So we're driving consistency, you know, as we see this with customers. A lot of the messaging, if you ask 5 different people, they potentially give you 5 different answers. So we're driving what we call at Microsoft the authoritative knowledge. And that's kind of the right way, the one way that these types of answers really need to be replied to and responded around, right? It could be about, you know, data privacy, policy, security. It could be, you know, HR policies or employee handbooks, all the above. And these are very good types of frequently asked questions to memorialize into this online knowledge base, you know, for folks to access and reuse, especially in the most common applications they're using today. No doubt, email, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel. You don't even have to leave the page, right? So it's been really good feedback from our customers.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing, Jesse, is that InfoStrat, we're very focused on public sector. We're based in Washington, D.C. We do a lot of work with state, local, federal government. And what's exciting to me is to see Microsoft investing in the technology and the R&D and taking these technologies that are exploited in commercial operations and then bring them to our world in public sector. Because these really do represent best practices that originate in industry that we can take advantage of. And as you said, you can measure productivity, but when it comes to consistency and accuracy, that becomes almost priceless because you're not doing anybody a favor by giving them an answer that's not authoritative or giving them 2 different conflicting answers. So the act of coming up with a single authoritative source for answers itself is a very positive initiative for any organization. Okay, I'm going to show you, I'm just going to point to a couple of other permutations here. And then I'm going to flip over to a demo of how do you maintain these articles and give you kind of a little peek behind the covers of how you set this up. So we showed you looking on the website as a customer, inserting an email, inserting inside a document. I just want to point out that you can also use this for citizen services. That very same feature of responding to an inquiry from the press or from a citizen, it works the same way for you. You can also have it work as a portal so that someone can check on hours or availability or other kinds of self-service capabilities. We're doing this here with a local county for their Department of Parks and Recreation, where we have a portal that you can use to report a problem or make a request. So there are a whole host of scenarios in public sector where this really makes a big impact. So I'm just going to summarize, and then I'm going to flip back and show you another demo piece. One of the first departments that often takes advantage of new technology is the information technology department itself. And those IT departments can realize direct benefits. As Jesse mentioned, they can cut their costs by reducing the number of calls that come in, and also by directing people. We call this deflection. As you start to type your question in, direct someone to the answer. Oh, well, it looks like my question's resolved. I don't have to create a trouble ticket. We can also integrate with other trouble ticket systems. So if you happen to have a legacy trouble ticket system or more than one, as many agencies do, and you're not ready to migrate everything at once, we have integration from Microsoft to other systems. HR department is an obvious early candidate for knowledge base, and then other departments and lines of business within an agency typically have similar requirements, such as finance or legal department. And then, of course, the same capability can be used for external inquiries. We're doing one right now for medical researchers around the world who have queries. So I'm going to just flip over here to my knowledge base and show you just a couple of things to give you a feel for how long it takes to develop it, how do you change them. So what we're looking at here is I'm looking at the central management console, and I'm picking knowledge base off the menu. And over here in my demo environment, I've set up some folders. And in these folders, I've got knowledge base articles. So let's say that I drill into this knowledge base article. This is how you create what we saw during that demo. To answer the question about VPN or the question about flex time. We put in the question or the title for that article. We can put in rich text. We can embed videos and images. We put in the answer. And you can see that we've got a space for up to 90,000 characters in that answer, not including things like images and videos. And then we can also keyword it, so this will facilitate the search capability. I can include the article in multiple folders if I want, so that using different keywords they can still get at that. We do have content rating. We looked at an example a moment ago where we said, was this article helpful? You can also use star rating for those articles, and you can enable the users to provide more detailed feedback if you wanted to, such as a text field, if they encountered some kind of a problem with the article and they wanted to give you suggestions. You can have your knowledge base articles appear and disappear based on the expiration date and the publishing date. You can also enable multilingual capability for your knowledge base. So this is just a pretty simple knowledge base example article. We also have related articles, so when you're looking at that article you can see links down at the bottom to related articles, and we can include document attachments. So then you organize these along your topic lines, then you publish them, and the published knowledge base articles will be visible to these external users. So I just wanted to give you kind of a taste, if you were the administrator of this knowledge base, how it would look. Jesse, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think, Jim, I think this looks great. It's you know, obviously it's pretty simple when it comes to the user interface. Pretty intuitive. You've got your WYSIWYG editor right in the middle. You can format any of this to be a really rich experience. Looks like I can even convert the KB article to HTML if I want to really enhance the experience. Embed videos, screenshots, and then even up on the upper right-hand side of the corner, I noticed there's an area for translations. This is, Microsoft has the benefit of leveraging a number of technologies across the enterprise. So it could be, let's call it Bing Translate, engines that are running behind this to help translate English into 40 different languages, including all of the Asian character sets as well.
Well, I do want to point out something else, because this is a question we're often asked. How long does it take to stand this up? And here's the wild thing that I don't think I've mentioned. This is a Microsoft cloud service. And what that means is you can have it literally stood up overnight. With one of our customers, we were told it was the fastest implementation she had ever witnessed, because it's not contingent on ordering new hardware for your rack or even installing software. When Microsoft flips the switch to turn it on, then it becomes available. It also supports integrated authentication so that you can use single sign-on. So you arrange basically a handshake between the cloud service and your Active Directory or even other non-Active Directory authentication scheme. Okay, well, I'm going to just go back to kind of where we left off before we headed to the demo. So I'm going to just touch on some of the many attributes that I mentioned. Jesse pointed out the multilingual capability. We've got the portal piece that's baked into this. The ability to support multiple channels, and I can't emphasize how exciting that is. Now, something I did not demo to you was chat. One of the channels is live chat. I'm sure you've all run into live chat when you go to a manufacturer or consumer good website. All you have to do as a customer service representative is sign in and tell the system that you're available for live chat, and then you can grab requests for live chat off of the queue and respond to them. Live chat does enable a customer service rep to multitask and handle multiple requests at one time, going back and forth between them. And it does provide an immediacy that you really don't get without it. So that's an interesting area. Some of these acronyms that are in here, ADFS, that's Active Directory, SSO, single sign-on. All of this is based on the latest cloud and web technology, things like this REST API. And it also facilitates integration with other systems. For instance, we've integrated with a product called Jira, which is sometimes used for managing tasks. It's all governed by Microsoft's cloud and Microsoft's SLA. That also means that Microsoft is jumping through the hoops of security accreditation. A number of people at Microsoft are devoted to staying up to date with the latest government security requirements, including things like FedRAMP and FISMA, so that you can be consistent with all your operating guidelines. Okay, I'm going to just give you a suggestion of where to go next. As I mentioned at the outset, we're happy to set up a one-on-one demonstration for you. We can also do something we call a quick start, where we give you your own sandbox environment, let you kick the tires, let you really dig in and have a much more in-depth user experience than we can give you in just a short hour-long session. So I'm inviting you to contact us, set something up. Jesse and I and others, if there are other Microsoft folks in your geography that we need to rope into it, we can engage with you and give you the opportunity to really evaluate the solution. Microsoft has a large number of customers that are doing customer service on the Microsoft stack. Many of these are commercial, but as you can see from this slide, a lot of them fall into public sector. Federal agencies, state governments, local governments, education, public health, even nonprofits. So you have many peers that may have already adopted Microsoft for customer service. So what I'm going to do at this juncture is I'm going to open it up for questions. There is a questions pane that is in your client there, and you should be able to post some. I think we've got a question here, so I'm going to take a look at that. Okay, do you have specific versions of Office to integrate with the cloud service? Jesse, do you want to take that, or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, so I'm going to, so the best integration you're going to get and the best functionality you're going to get is with Office 365. And Office 365 is Microsoft's cloud version of Microsoft Office, and it represents the very latest version of Office. I know that integration is available right now, and that's what I've been demonstrating to you today. I have to confess I'm not sure about older versions of Office. So Jesse, if you can save me on that, that's great. If not, I can track down an answer for you, Mr. Roth.
Well, yeah. Usually we look for the latest versions of Office 365. It'll work with E3, E4, and then I think prior versions just require a little bit of different type of code, but it's all technology, right? So we can write the ones and zeros to make it work.
Okay. Well, I know that the latest version, if you were to subscribe to Office 365 today, then you would be on the latest version. And again, that's what I have been demonstrating today. Okay, let me see if there's some other questions. Okay, I've got a question of how do you purchase this? How do you buy it? The answer is it's purchased the same way that you buy all your other Microsoft products. Typically for public sector, you have a volume licensing agreement that's called an enterprise agreement. And what Microsoft allows you to do is to add products to that agreement at any point during the period covered by the agreement, which is often 3 years. And what you do is you go to your reseller, so a company like SHI or Dell or CDWG, and you say, I'd like to add a certain number of users of product X. And of course, we can provide you with what the line item numbers are for these products. And then those are added to your volume licensing agreement and then spread out over the life of your agreement. Thank you again for joining us, and feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thank you, Jesse, for presenting today. Appreciate it.
Yep. Wonderful, wonderful time. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for your attention, everybody.